Hi everyone, I'm Matthew John and welcome to this week's Weekly Market Pulse. Well, happy anniversary to all the buyers out there. It is now 12 months since the peak of the Melbourne market last year in September. Obviously from September onwards we have seen a drop in the market pretty much consecutive for the 12 months since then. So overall though, we're only sitting it down about 3.4% for the Melbourne market as a whole. So we're not talking massive numbers, and obviously the growth we had for the 4 or 5 year period up to that was quite substantial. So as we've said before, just a softening or a cooling of the market to sort of bring things back down to speed. But fantastic buying conditions as we've said previously. And one thing I will say, we are hearing a lot of buyers saying that they are waiting at the moment, and with the market cooling they don't feel the urgency to go out there and buy something anymore. But anyone that is trying to time the market to buy in the trough of the market before it does start to go up again, you have to remember the only way that we can tell when the market has bottomed out is once it does start going up again. So there's no perfect time to buy. In terms of waiting, the buying conditions are fantastic at the moment. So if you are thinking about it, we definitely recommend to get out there and get something. We are looking at a 4 to 6 week period now that you do have to buy properties before we do get into that sort of mid to late December period when the market really does slow down to probably mid-January. And if you are looking to buy something, it's probably going to be early to mid-Feb before you will get an opportunity next year. Now looking at the auction clearance rates on the weekend, Melbourne was sitting at 53%, so definitely a far cry from where we were this time last year at 75%. But if we do look at the country as a whole, Canberra was ahead of Melbourne, but Melbourne was actually sitting second out of all the capital cities. Sydney was sitting at 50% in terms of auction clearance rates, and Brisbane was actually at 33%. So overall, we're faring okay in terms of the country as a whole, but obviously down quite a bit from where we were at last year. Realestate.com.au have said that they've noticed an 11% increase in Chinese buyers that are looking at properties in Melbourne. So it could be signalling that we might be seeing some foreign investors that do come back into the Melbourne market now that it has cooled a little bit and it has taken a bit of the pressure off. We are expecting the banks to probably ease a little bit in terms of finance and foreign lending next year. So that could signal that we do get an increase of investors back into the market, but especially foreign investors as well, which were definitely one of the major causes for the growth in the Melbourne market over the past 3 to 4 years. So if that does happen, we could see the market potentially turn and start heading back upwards as early as next year. The REIV and realestate.com.au have predicted may happen. They're still expected to stay reasonably flat until then, but as early as next year we could see that the drop in the market cease and things potentially start to go up there. So as I said before, if you are looking to buy, make sure you get out there now. There's some great buys out there for the moment, and if you want to buy and settle by Christmas, you really do need to be getting something in the next 1 to 2 weeks. That's all for this week's Weekly Market Pulse. We look forward to seeing you next week.